Man, I love this tree. See how its trunk starts on one side of the river, and its branches reach all the way to the other side of the river. It's your boy KP Kev the Poet. Having a moment. Currently in North London, the suburbs, Winchmore Hill, Enfield. And I've got plans, ideas and inspiration to share. Basically got myself some new tech. Cause at the risk of sounding arrogant, I get a lot of inspiration and I have a lot of ideas that other people probably thought of them, but not a lot of other people have thought of, but a lot of people resonate with when I share them. Usually they express it themselves in music, poems and Facebook rants. But there's a lot of people out there who share my perspectives, but they may not listen to hip-hop, or they may not want to read. So I'm not going to reach those people. However, video blogging and podcasts have been on my mind. Not just me on my one, but I'm actually considering teaming up with some like-minded individuals to record some conversations as well as some rants. What sort of conversations and or rants? Political and or spiritual, but not boring. Trust. Yeah. So like, I don't know, if you're not familiar with me, you might be wondering, where's he coming from in terms of his politics? Well, I'm both spiritual flex and political flex. I've got some revolutionary ideas, but they're not necessarily 100% original ideas. They're 100% original combinations though. My perspective, whoa, check the light there. My perspective is that we're ruled by thieves and liars, or as Terence McKenna once said, led by the least among us. It depressed me that the American election, not that Trump won. What depressed me was that Trump and Hillary Clinton were both lauded as the only options. Do you know how many millions of people there are in America? And you think they couldn't have done better than a woman with federal charges and a man who admitted sexual assault? I mean, really? Really? Now, Trump's got a lot of support. So, you know, I understand I may lose some people by going at him. I understand why some people voted for him instead of Hillary, on account of the fact that a lot of people saw the 13th and know what the Clinton administration did to black people. A lot of people know just how corrupt Hillary was. But why were you, because I'm not American, given only the lesser of two evils as a choice? You know? But like, that, it's beyond that. That's like a footnote in history that's of the now. But the bottom line is, in both America and England, the system has to change. We've got a system where we basically get to choose out of one liar or another, one thief or another, and politicians are expected to lie. We expect them to lie. Well, anybody with common sense expects them to lie. And then it's a judgment, and I know I'm wrong for judgment, but I can't maintain an enlightened perspective 100% of the time. Yet. So the judgment is, gullible people actually believe these politicians. Gullible people thought that the money that was going to the EU might go to the NHS if we voted out of Brexit. Whatever. No, it was just a racist ploy to tell Europe that we don't want to play anymore, basically. And yeah, a lot of Americans seem to think Trump is some anti-globalist revolutionary and that he's going to help people, help poor white people. He don't care about you at all. Right. Really? Really, you think these billionaires care about anybody that's not going to make them more money? Are you dumb? Sorry, judgment again. That wasn't a judgment, it was a question, but it was a leading question. So yeah, that's on the political flex. I just need to wake people up on account of the fact that we are constantly lied to. Not just by the politicians, but by the newspapers. I'm going to call out Rupert Murdoch. You know what? It's not even a criticism of Rupert Murdoch. It's a criticism of the thousands, if not millions of people that read tabloid newspapers and think they're not lying to them. I'll get into the specific manipulations that we've had, but basically the past 2 or 3 elections, the Sun won those past 2 or 3 elections. Whoever Rupert Murdoch wants to win, he owns the Sun. He tells I'm not going to get into the conspiracy facts. Do you hear that? Conspiracy facts. I don't deal with conspiracy theories. I'm going to get into the conspiracy facts right now because this is just an introduction. So, on the spiritual flex. Wow. Let's go deeper, shall we? My spiritual views are not quite as hippified as some may believe. Yeah, I believe in the tenets of love. Yeah, I believe that my spiritual beliefs are a synthesis of many spiritual practices and beliefs, influenced primarily by Christianity. I love squirrels, by the way. Christianity, Buddhism, Taoism. Now I know a lot of people are immediately put off by the words Christianity because they're aware of the horrors that the church has done historically. The genocides that popes have okayed, be it the pagans in the West or the shamans in America and Latin countries. Yeah, the church is responsible for some dark things. And yeah, if you do your history, a lot of the teachings of the church, a lot of the stories seem to have their roots in Egyptian myths and mythology. But that doesn't mean that there aren't good things to find within their texts. But yeah, I'm not going to dwell on that too much either. Basically, my point as far as spirituality is concerned is I've been mostly recently influenced by a website called Skeptiko. That's skeptiko.com, where they interview everyone from scientists to psychic mediums and try and bridge the gap between science and spirituality. Because the quantum stuff is getting more and more interesting And there have been so many scientific studies into paranormal phenomenons that it's becoming a little hard to ignore the fact that there's more to life than meets the eye. Now, I'm not saying what that is. I'm not saying I know the fundamental nature of reality. What I'm saying is nobody knows the fundamental nature of reality. We can see less than 1% of light. So who knows how many interdimensional beings, angels, fairies, whatever you want to call them, are in these woods right now that we just can't see. Quantum physicists are saying there's string theory, there's several different dimensions. Who knows how and if those dimensions interact with each other. And my favourite subject of research recently has been near-death experiences where people have been brain dead, clinically brain dead, as in the brain is no longer working, yet they can remember. How beautiful is that? Where was I? They can remember things that occurred when they were brain dead. And this has happened thousands of times, literally thousands of times now. And there's no obvious logical explanation for it. Oak leaves. You know what? I think I'm gonna have me one of these. Or two if the universe says so. Probably break in my pocket in transit. I do love the honour of oak. So where was I? Yeah, basically, mind is more than brain, according to empirical evidence. The mind, consciousness, is beyond the brain, according to empirical evidence and/or science. What does that mean? Who knows in entirety, but it could, well, for me, it indicates that the New Age idea and/or Buddhist idea that consciousness is beyond the mind and something that we all share. Consciousness is not located in the brain, but perhaps the brain is a receiver, like a radio signal. It indicates that might be true. Now, I'm not saying I know, I'm saying I have theories, and these theories are backed up by science. Because it's funny, scientists and people into science are usually the first to tell you they're skeptical. But the scientific method only creates hypotheses. And a hypothesis is basically a theory that's supported by evidence. But it's never a final conclusion. And you may always find variables that change the conclusion, change the hypothesis, change the theory. And the more people investigate, the more the theory's becoming there's way more to life and the afterlife than meets the eye. So yeah, video blogs and podcasts exploring the fact that we're led by thieves and liars politically, and solutions. Let's focus on that. Let's not focus on the problems, let's focus on solutions. Personally, I think one of the biggest problems is that due to the political system we have, led by money, renewable resources and sustainable resources are not being invested in because they're not as profitable. And people over profits, basically. We need a system in which the lives of our children are more important than how much money we can make today. So yeah, focusing on the fact that we're led by thieves and liars and how to change that. And when I say thieves and liars, it's not just the politicians, it's the banking system too. And the banking system and how that's tied into the war system, the military-industrial complexes, etc. And on the other note, spirituality, how science, quantum science and the investigation of paranormal events is supporting the idea that we live in a mysterious world. So that's that. I'll probably make some more music videos with my new tech as well. And I'm quite an intuitive person, so I'm gonna go with the flow. That's the general plan, but we'll see who wants to get involved in cosmic conversations and or political conversations with me. We'll see what I feel inspired to talk about in the coming weeks and or months. And we'll see, yeah, we'll see. Om Loka Samasta Sukhinu Bhavantu. May all beings in all worlds know happiness. X amount of love. Thank you for taking the time to chill with me on my countryside wander in the middle of North London. Bless!